Hey, hi, hello, how are you? I'm Pia, and today we are talking about all of the books that I read in September. I had a really mixed reading month. I had like 5 stars and then a DNF and then another 5 stars and then another DNF. Like, it was all over the board. So I'm really excited to talk to you about my reads this month. I haven't done a lot of videos on them, so there's gonna be fresh new thoughts that you've never heard before from me on this channel. So I'm very excited about it. And let's just get into it. Okay. The first book I read, I listened to on audio, and this was the Pallbearers Club. I don't own it. I got it from my library. This is by Paul Tremblay. It's kind of like a really hard book to describe. A cozy vampire movie that was made by like A24. Like, it is mostly this like memoir written by this guy, and then there's these interjections from this woman who they were friends when they were like in high school and then like throughout their lives, and she is just kind of like interjecting on his memoir, and you really don't know what's real and what's not. It was interesting, it was fun, and it was definitely unlike a lot of things I've read before, but it wasn't my favorite thing in the world, so I gave it 3 stars. Then I had my first DNF of the month. I DNF'd 100 Other Girls. This was a carryover from August, I guess. I got through like a little bit over 30% of this one, and I was, on my iPad, I got it, the ebook, and I just feel like it was trying way too hard to be really woke and like trendy and it's like language, pop culture references and stuff like that, and I was really sad about it. Like, I had really high expectations for this book. I was really excited about the premise of this like kind of new age Devil Wears Prada, and it just ultimately let me down. So then I read The Dead Romantics. This I again got from my library for the audiobook, and this is the new Ashley Poston. I loved this book. This is so cute. It's about a ghost and a ghostwriter, and now is that not the cutest thing you've ever fucking heard? This gave me all like the cozy autumnal feels that I wanted. It also has like some deeper things going on. Obviously, we're dealing a lot with death. Hello. Our main character is a ghostwriter for a romance novelist, but she has kind of realized she hates romance now. She doesn't believe in love anymore because her boyfriend of a long time has dumped her, and he sucked. He was a writer, and he kind of took her life story and wrote a book about it and is doing so much better than her, whereas she is a ghostwriter, and so no one really knows the acclaim that she is getting. That is her story. She also sees ghosts. Here we go. She has always been able to see ghosts. I don't know if it's ever explained, but her and her dad have that in common, and when her dad passes away, it kind of triggers this sequence of events. Things changing in her life. So I really love this book. I give it 4 out of 5 stars. I think it was great for like this time of year especially, and really unique, really fun. Obviously, like I said, dealing a lot with grief and things like that, so I thought those were all done really well as well. Then we have another DNF. Okay, I DNF'd Self-Made Boys, A Great Gatsby Remix. I DNF'd this a little bit over the 50% mark, which is usually when I like DNFing things. That's such a bad way to say that. When I will DNF things. This is a Great Gatsby retelling. I think it's more akin to a fan fiction because it really doesn't have like the same kind of plot beats as the source material, and that's fine. I just think I had different expectations going into this, and I didn't like the direction that it was taking because it was just such a loose retelling. It's about 2 trans main characters who are falling in love. They are Gatsby and Nick. It was interesting. There's also like a lot of insta love. I appreciate their representation, and I think it's such an interesting way to kind of twist this this story and mold it into something entirely new, but I just didn't love it, and I didn't really like the whole Gatsby idea of it, like that it's retelling. I just didn't think it fit that mold of what I consider to be a good retelling, if that makes any sense. Then I read Agamemnon. Heyo. I actually read all 3 of the Orestia trilogy. This is just the first one. And I actually didn't have this book until relatively recently. This is literally my copy, which I think was one of my brother's copies, because it has my high school English department stamp on it, and my notes from when I was 13 and read this for the first time. Anyways, I read Agamemnon. I have like a new appreciation for this book. I don't know why I gave it 2 stars. I'll give it 3 stars. I have a new appreciation for this. Maybe now that I've read the trilogy, I don't really know, but I've only marked this on Goodreads. It doesn't matter. I just think now that I've like had a lot of time to kind of sit with the impact of this play and of like especially like Clytemnestra, I just think she is such a badass bitch, and I get to write an essay about her, and it makes me really happy that I actually read this a really long time ago and that I got to revisit it over 5 years later. I can't do the math right now. But yeah, I do think I have like a much greater appreciation for this book having read it that long ago, and now in college it's like a very different experience. And yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say like, hey, go read this Greek drama, but like if you want to, it's a good one. It's a good one. I'd say it's a good one. I say it's fun, it's spicy. The only thing I don't like about this book, there's a few things I don't like. I don't really like Cassandra because I think she's kind of annoying, and she just like states the plot before it happens, which is kind of boring. So it makes the reveal a lot less dramatic, because she's like, this is what's gonna happen. I've seen the future. And we're like, are you okay, bestie? And so I don't like that. And then I don't like, again, that you don't see the big dramatic thing that happens, which I think I can spoil it. This bitch is dead, like right off the bat. It's about him dying, like getting stabbed. Yeah, you don't get to see that. It's just like, he goes, ah, I've been stabbed. Anyways, I could talk about this for days. I really like it. I think it's a fun play. Another disappointing read. I read Love on the Brain by Ali Hazelwood. Again, I got this from my library. Thank you. This was super disappointing. I just don't know what it is about this book, but I hate it. The tropes were so fucking useless. It was just like, I want there to be X, Y, and Z tropes, and then I trying to like fit this romance, this relationship between these two people into that trope box. It was like fitting a fucking square into a circle. Like, it just didn't work. So I didn't like that. I think the love interest was great. I think he was really the standout point for me in this book. But other than that, I'm just so like tired of the miscommunication trope. I'm so severely tired of it. I just think so many of this book was useless and stupid, and it was like honestly cringy at times. Like, we get it, like Ali, like we get you love like big tall men, and you have to tell us every page that he's so massive and like just stature and like makes you feel very small, but like I don't care. Yeah, I don't know, I just feel like it's like a copy and paste of Love Hypothesis, but bad. And I read a great audiobook, which is, trigger warning for death of a mom, a parent, I'm Glad My Mom Died by Jenna McCurdy. Everyone wrote this month, I feel like, so I wanted to join in. This book was amazing. It was eye-opening in many ways. I think it's hard to write memoirs. I think it's hard to do that, but I think if we're strictly talking about the way that this was written and the storytelling that Jenna McCurdy possesses, it's really raw, it really cuts deep, and I think that she has a real talent in storytelling, and I would love to see her write more things. I also really liked how the story was told. It was just very like blunt and matter of fact, and I think that she also did a great performance of the audiobook as well. And yeah, I mean, I highly recommend it. There are lots and lots of trigger warnings, so please tread with caution, but I would definitely recommend this book. Then I read another Greek drama. This is the fall of the Greek dramas. This is called The Duchess of Malthy. I read this for a class. I don't have much to say about it. I'm like kind of sprinkling my class readings in here. I'm not gonna do it all the time. Sometimes I will, because I'm like, hey, I read it, like I tried. Like let me put in my Goodreads. I won't do it all the time because I read some other things and they're not. I didn't put them in. But I read this, it's a mess. It was, yeah, I didn't write it. Anyways. Then I read The Epic Story of Every Living Thing by Deb Coletti. I think she has written a great book, which is The Heart and the Body of the World. And I think that her subsequent novels have just been taking on too much, because I think she really can accomplish, like she can tell such a great story if she is not trying to go above and beyond every time, which is ambitious. She's just ambitious to a fault, I think. In these books, you know, like it's about a pandemic. It's like about post-pandemic culture. It's about siblings reuniting and finding their like sperm donor father. It's about Hawaii and the like pollution and deterioration of the coral reef. And it's just about so many different things. And I just think that if she pared down what she was trying to talk about, especially not bringing up new things like towards the end, then we would have a much more successful and impactful story. But because of those things, I have to give it 3 stars. I just don't think that it accomplished and settled every single little thing that it opened up, and I personally like my stories to be wrapped up by the end for the most part, so I give it 3 stars. Then I read Every Summer After. I listened to the audiobook. Oh my gosh, guys. I knew I was gonna love this book. I was really hoping I was gonna love this book because I knew it was like summary. It was like multiple POVs, not multiple POVs, multiple timelines. Hello, sorry. And it was best friends to lovers, and that is my favorite trope. I don't care like what you have to say. It's also like second chance kind of, which I feel like most of the times is a best friends to lovers is a second chance. Anywho, this I gave 5 stars emotionally. Like it really like hit. Like when I read it, I was like, is love real? Like, am I gonna one day find myself? Like I really like had hope in my future love life after reading this book, and I feel like that's a testament to this novel and what it did to me. So I'm like 5 stars emotionally, but like 4 stars maybe like more critically, because it wasn't perfect. I don't think, like just my memory of it is really perfect because I really loved it, and obviously it made a really big impact on me. It's heavy, it made me cry, it made me so happy in times and so devastated in other times, and I do think like a couple things were a little bit easy as far as plot points go, but I just can't knock the fact that I had such an incredible time reading this. I want to own this book, I want to annotate this book, I want to reread this book till the day I die. It is so fucking good. I think that if you want like an aged up, way better version of like The Summer I Turned Pretty, this is like, if you took The Summer I Turned Pretty and You Blew Me on Vacation, which is my favorite, Emily Henry, and you mix them together, you would get this book, and I loved it. So good. Then I finished Ice Planet Barbarians. I'm gonna be talking about this for 0.2 seconds. I've been reading this for too long. I have a lot of things I'm currently reading on Goodreads for about most of the time because I have like a problem with starting books and then putting them down because I get bored or I just like am not in the mood. Anyways, this is a book I started and I like was immediately so jarred by the fact that this starts with an alien abduction, and it was really brutal, and that was really jarring to me because I was like, oh, I thought this was like fun Ice Planet like romance times, and so that was really strange. And then the whole book just like I wish I could unread this book. But I read all of it, guys. I read all of it from start to finish and I gave it 1 star. The things I've seen, I feel like a little bit traumatized because of this book. It's not good. There's like 26 books in this series. It obviously has its audience. Unfortunately, that is just not me. Then I read another memoir. I read Mean Baby. This is Selma Blair's memoir. I really love reading memoirs about famous people in general, but I really like reading about like people I don't feel like I know very well. Maybe they're the people who most likely write memoirs. People in the public eye that I maybe am less familiar with. I think reading their memoir is like always a really interesting experience. Selma Blair is that for me. I mean, like I have seen Legally Blonde, obviously, like I could quote it from memory, but I haven't seen too many of the other things that she's been in. But I've always known her to be this kind of icon, and I really, again, this was an incredible memoir. Her performance of this was also so heartbreaking. She really like let her emotions show and shine through the words. You know, she was getting choked up at times, and it was like really hard not to feel the same kind of emotions that she was feeling when she was reading it, and I think it was really beautiful. Everything was done incredibly well. Like I said, I didn't know a lot about her and her life and things that she's gone through, and I think that obviously you get a lot of that from the memoir. And I also think it's really interesting that this is also one of the few memoirs that I've read that's kind of told in vignettes. It's not told necessarily chronologically, I would say. I do think it does start in an early life period and does end up in a more contemporary life, more present day period, but it definitely, they're kind of like more like an essay style of memoir. That's a good way to describe it, more of an essay style of memoir than strictly like, this is my life story. And I really liked that. I didn't think I would, to be honest, because I just like things in an order, and I think she did a really good job of making that all make sense very seamlessly, and I gave it 5 stars. I really think that I read some really incredible memoirs this month, and I'm so glad I did, and I really hope to read some more soon. I forget every time. I really do love memoirs. The last book I read this month is The Hawthorne Legacy. This is the 2nd book in the Inheritance Game series. Now I can't tell you what this is about, but it is following the events of the 1st book. There's a big old reveal at the end of that book, so it's kind of following that. It just kicks off right from there. I don't think any time is wasted, actually. I think it's like really right from the end. And I really love this book. I've said it before and I will say it again. These books reignited my love for YA, and I really credit them for that, and I really give them a lot of credit for doing that. Like I think that's a really awesome thing, and I have such a special relationship with them because of that. These are such fun books. They're mysteries, they're kind of like Knives Out, lots of complicated family drama, which is some of my favorite to read about. Really great classic YA tropes that I think are used really strategically and are used very well. Yeah, I had a really interesting time. I think I physically read the 1st book, so this one I listened to on audio, and I forgot they were Southern. I read someone else on Instagram say the same thing, and I like totally forgot, because to me they were like British. It gives more class. It reads more class, you know? But I really love it. I love Jameson. I love the romance in here. And I really like just where the series is going. I can't wait to read the rest. Finishing off this series and then going into the companions that are coming out soon. I'm so hyped, and I'm really glad I'm finally getting to this because it brings me so much fucking joy. So I give it 4 out of 5 stars. Those are all the books that I read in September. It was a lot more than I anticipated. Definitely a lot of audiobooks. That is definitely where I'm getting the most reading done. But you're not always in the mood for an audiobook, are you? So yeah, we will see what next month holds. For me, if you've gotten this far in the video, make sure to leave a fun emoji down below. Just anything fun for me to read through later. Let me know what you guys read or what you liked that you read. Just let me know in the comments down below anything about your reading in September. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, do all the things, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.